how this one question keeps you from manifesting your desires. We're going to talk about that today and more on Awakening with Amy. Hi, welcome. I'm Amy Valentine, certified life coach, hoping to awaken within you a mindset that you can be, do, and have any desire. And today we're going to talk about manifesting again. And it's a really powerful video because this one question, what's wrong, is probably the most damaging question we can ask ourselves that keeps what we want just out of reach. So we're going to talk about that today and more. What's wrong? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with the situation? What's wrong? That question puts our focus and attention on the problem perpetually. It keeps us focused in like a tunnel vision, right? Keeps us focused on what is, or even the past, what was. And the past isn't really ever here. It's gone. But how do we keep it alive? By dredging up those memories, by fixing ourselves, by thinking we have to heal childhood trauma, doing inner child work, past life regressions. All those things can be powerful. I'm not knocking any process because I've done them all. But what I am saying is understand why they work. They only work if they help you stop focusing on the trauma. That's really powerful. So I'm going to break this down again. Again, I'm not knocking any process to heal anything. What I'm saying is understand how energy works, that it's all based on the now moment. That the past is not here unless we focus our light and attention on it, and believing in our past as solid and the only past, the only potential is what keeps those traumas alive. It makes us feel it's that I'm not enough, rearing its head constantly, keeping us from our full potential, right? It keeps you desiring instead of realizing I have a desire and that it's already given, right? This is what we're here to awaken to. We come in a physical body. We have complete amnesia. That's our first birth, right? The physical birth. The second birth is us awakening, being reborn, seeing our life from a different perspective, a different set of eyes, that inner eyes, right? So what's wrong when you're saying what's wrong with me, what's wrong with my life, what's wrong with them, what you're doing is you're implying that you're not enough and what isn't enough. And the irony is when you ask, it's given. The asking is in the receiving. So the universe, soul energy, that infinite intelligence reads what you're putting your focus and attention on because it's just unconditional awareness, unconditional love as you want more of it, right? It keeps you in a perpetual state of wanting instead of receiving and allowing, right? So you create the very thing that you don't want by looking at it, by trying to fix it, by thinking that you're not enough and you need to be better to have more. And like Abraham-Hicks says, 99.999% of what you want is already yours and it's in the vortex. That's what they call the vortex. The vortex is the unseen potential. But when you're focused on what is or what was, trying to fix it, trying to be better, trying to figure it out, arguing for your limitation, justifying why you don't have the love in your life or more money or a different situation, all that is putting your light and attention on your not enoughness, which is made up. It's the ego. It's the lower voice. So, that ego is always in the dead past. What does Neville Goddard say about this? He says, you already are that which you want to be. It's only your refusal to believe it that keeps it from you. He's saying the same thing as Abraham, just in a different way, that your potential is mostly unseen. This is really powerful to know this. So stop defining yourself by what was or what is now, because it's all old news, right? The past isn't as solid, as real as you think it is, as it appears to be. That's why it said in Scripture, judge not by appearances, but with righteous judgment. What is righteous judgment? It's that the way your inner being sees you, the way that unconditional love, God, sees you as whole and perfect. When? Right now. So when you're whole and perfect right now, you don't need to do anything to be more. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to heal anything. You need to understand that as you heal it, you're creating it. You're creating more of the same. Right? Different places, different faces, but you take yourself everywhere you go, as Abraham-Hicks says. So things change. They seemingly change a little bit, and then it's like that hot, cold thing. Right? Change for a little bit, I feel better. And then it goes back to the same old, same old. That's what Abraham-Hicks is talking about. That's what they mean, that there's only the now moment. So it's everything is always changing. Your thoughts are changing. Your feelings are changing. The 3D is changing. Everything is always changing, but it changes to the same thing or the similar things when you believe that's who you are. But when you awaken to who you really are, be still and know I am God. What is that saying? That's not saying that you're God. It's saying you're one with that God, that you are always connected to the greater I am. I am that I am. And when you let yourself ponder that, then that tunnel vision, that ego stance opens up. It's, let the dead bury the dead. I die daily. You don't have to do anything with those negative thoughts because you try to do the bottom up approach, think better thoughts, try to feel better. You kind of eke things out, manifestations out, but then you always go back to the same identity because you're not changing your who. And you can change your who right now by consulting with your inner authority, your inner being, the God force within you that you're always connected to. That's how you do it. So here's a process. I call it the stoplight process to basically, just let that stuff go. Just let the past go. Let anything go that's no longer serving you. So the stoplight process. Stop trying to convince your lower self, those lower thoughts, that ego personality, that all things are possible. The ego is never going to believe it. The lower self doesn't have the ability to believe it, and it's not supposed to. We need that ego, that lower self, as a point of relativity. So we can remember, get out of the dream, the fog of the illusion, and wake up in the dream and be who we really are. So stop trying to change yourself. Stop trying to fix yourself. Stop trying to heal trauma, knowing that every time you're looking at it, you're creating more of it, right? Number 2, yield. Yielding means acceptance. Accept what is. Accept your now moment as the only moment. It's the only moment. When you accept what is, you're not saying you agree with it. You're saying, I'm not resisting it. This is huge. Why do we not want to resist? Because resistance creates more resistance. We want to allow the bridge of incidents to unfold. We want to allow that inner being to guide us to what's next, right? Guiding us, because we're never, ever, ever feeling anything without a thought first. Know that. So yield to all of it. Don't believe in it as who you are. Yield to that higher you, that inner authority, that I am who I say I am. Because that is my God God-given right of consciousness. And everything stems from your I am. Number 3 is go. We want to go towards our inner being, our higher self. We want to leave the ego to sulk in its own limitation. We don't want to fight the ego or resist it. We just want to leave them be there, like a kid having a tantrum. Eventually, you'll stop hearing that voice, right? You don't want to do anything with it. Just leave it be. Have that inner conviction. I am who I say I am. Just repeat that until it seeps into every cell of your body, that it's an inner knowing, right? You want to allow your inner being to lead your life. You don't need to clean up anything. Just let it all, because the crazy thing is, it all just goes back into potential. But when you come from that higher identity, that's a top-down approach. Now you're taking that tunnel vision of what is or what was, and you're opening it up by not even trying to do anything, because you're allowing. You're allowing that higher voice to have the say. You're not looking at your bank account and saying, I don't have enough. You're not looking at what you don't have. Maybe it's a relationship, or maybe you want a new place to live, or maybe you want a new job. Stop trying to fix what isn't broken and accept it all as whole and perfect. Why? Because that's how your higher you sees you always. So just to recap, that question, what's wrong with me? Here's the answer. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with you. So stop trying to fix yourself and yield. Accept everything as it is, because when you do, that's building that faith within you, the faith that's already there, just covered up by the illusion of life. And go towards your higher self. Consult your inner being. First and foremost, come from the identity, the higher you. I am that I am. And that will dissolve any unwanted realities. Remember what scripture said. You cannot put new wine in old wineskins. And that's what they meant. You can't take any old parts of yourself into the new reality. Right? You have to come from that higher I am and just keep saying to yourself, I am that I am. I am so grateful and thankful for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and sharing and subscribing to the channel. I love having you here. And also send me any questions or comments to my email, amy@avlifecoaching. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, have a great day.